All right, we are live, I think. Wait, what? Mm, Yeah, we are live. Saturday morning, City of Brass.
Mhm.
Um, I'm your erstwhile DM, Aaron. We've got Peter and Brian joining us this morning. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me in this misadventure of AD&D First Edition, the one true edition of D&D, the one that I fell in love with when I was a kid after finding Holmes, the blue box, and then cracking that player's handbook at Valco
Mhm.
Mall in something like 1980, I don't know what, and it was awesome. So we're
Never looked back.
never looked back, only forward. We're doing Anthony Husso's City of Brass. If you don't know it, wow, what an amazing module! I'm so happy that I get to run this a second time. Peter joined me in the first misadventure that we had with the City of Brass, probably last year,
Yeah,
where we played it with a hack of DCC, and that was fun.
yeah, it was.
But
Yeah,
it wasn't the pure intent of the author, you know, written and designed for uh, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And I stumbled across it in my garage the other day, and I thought, man, I really want to run this again. So
yeah.
I polled the community, I polled my friends, and said, who's interested? And I got a few interested folks. So we're going to try this for a couple of weeks and see how it goes. Um, Maybe introductions around the table. Why don't we start with Brian?
Yeah. So I am running Erlen Vera, a neutral good fighter magic user thief, out for, well, we don't know. Usually acquiring goods and items for patrons,
Mm,
uh, or seeking information for himself, or maybe perhaps the Elven King. But he finds himself on his journey, and knowing Pseudo Dragon, he has picked up on a Pseudo Dragon communication. So I think he's chatting with, I don't know your character's name now, Peter.
Ahmed.
Ahmed's dragon. Having a good old time talking about the vagaries of living and working for a wizard. So,
great. It's great to have you joining us, Brian, especially
yeah,
early on a Saturday morning.
yeah, I have not played AD&D probably since 86,
80
probably.
something.
Yeah, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting. Peter, how about a quick introduction? I know that almost everybody that listens to this or watches this probably already knows us, but why
But
not?
who knows?
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Well, I've been playing AD&D since it was new, and on and off over the years, especially lately, I played it several times, and I always love the nostalgia hit
Oh, right.
of
When we
going.
played with Guy and stuff at Pacific
Oh, that's
Con.
right. I did.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
played some, maybe
right.
not since AD.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I'm loving it. I'm running Ahmed the Seeker, who is a high level wizard who has um, sought the world and the multiple planes for knowledge and experience, and is codifying everything and writing everything so that others may follow and learn and share. And I seek knowledge and experience more than treasure.
Cool. Knowledge is your treasure.
Knowledge is my treasure, and I'm accompanied everywhere by my faithful pseudo dragon familiar Azili, who tends not to leave my side much, kind of like a terrier.
Crawling on your shoulder, ever underfoot.
That's it.
Hmm.
We are playing today on Roll20, and I'm recording this session from my own display capture. So anybody that's watching this will get a chance to see behind the Dungeon Master screen, as it were, and all the things that go into running a game in Roll20, or my notes or my references or what I'm doing as a Dungeon Master kind of behind the scenes. So if that's interesting to you, in an effort to learn the game or learn how this style of play works online, maybe have a look. But I'd also encourage you that if you're a player, you're interested in playing City of Brass, not to look too closely. So why don't we go ahead and get started? The 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 precept or the idea or the concept behind this adventure is a gathering of heroes, a calling from the wizard Warmoss, from his crumbling castle of Morth Mayon, and he's called out to those heroes that will answer the call to do him a favor, to run him an errand, to serve him in all things. And part of our character generation was to come up with some concepts for your character. And I think I will ask each of you in turn why you've answered the summons of the Wizard Warmus. How about if we start with Erlen?
Well, I think the wizard has heard of my skills in providing services, discreet services for the discerning wizard,
Mm,
and my reputation at either locating or carrying or obtaining things has preceded me. So
okay, great. I love it. He knows you're a purer of fine things.
yeah,
Okay, and maybe what does someone notice when they greet you for the first time?
um, he is of a very typical elvish build, but he is cloaked in kind of a darkish gray cloak
Mm.
and clothing, very nondescript. As a matter of fact, the first thing you look is you kind of pass over him before you actually focus on him and
Oh,
notice him
right. Like
over him.
your eyes slide past into almost
Just
doing that
slide
little
past.
double take.
And like, oh, there's someone there. Oh, there's some. Oh, there's an elf there. Oh, wait. So he's very good
Cool,
at being not noticed.
And
cool.
on top of that, I tend to. What did he look like? Now that you mention it,
I don't quite remember.
yeah, he just sort of average elf look.
Average, between 4 feet and 8 feet tall, and 50 pounds and 230 pounds, and
Exactly.
blonde to black hair. So
Cool.
First
Um,
thing you notice is that you don't really notice him.
right.
exactly.
That's very unnoticeable.
hmm
Like
And even for an elf, he is not super attractive. So he is just very ordinary, very nondescript, which in
Okay.
this case is an asset for him.
Okay.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Well, you're the first to arrive at Castle North Mayan,
hmm
and it's a veritable wreck of a place, and you don't really understand why a wizard of Wormus's stature would take up residence in this type of place. He has a handful of men at arms about him, and it's almost as if he's withdrawn from the world
Hmm.
on the whole. And uh, but he's called you here, and he wants you to fetch something for him. He wants you to fetch something for him in in a plane between a plane, somewhere between fire and earth. And he will send
Hmm.
you there, and whatever companions heed this call. The next to arrive would be Peter's character. And sorry, Peter, I don't have your character's name on the roll
Nope.
20, and I've
Oh,
forgotten it already. So
and I forgot to put it there, so let me do that. Ahmed.
Ahmed, right? So Ahmed is the next to arrive at Morth Mayan. And why have you answered the summons of the Wizard Warmus?
Hold on. Make that work. There we go.
Thank you.
Um, because I have long sought the city of brass. My master, my master. Some say he was Jinn, some say he was elemental.
Hmm,
About fire and fire elementals. He was definitely not human, though he wore form. But when he was in his cups, he would talk of it, and I would get what information I could out of him, and it was fascinating. But
hmm,
it wasn't very complete, and he refused to talk about it other times. And so I'm the seeker of knowledge in places, and it's been that one thing, that one niggling, that search for Atlantis kind of thing. And if there's an opportunity to find out more, City of Brass and maybe even enter it or see it, then I'm there. And my master used to communicate with Ormos, so I knew of the name, and I know he's a wizard of to be respected. So it's probably not bullshitting us.
Right, right. And that and it sounds like that was the first thing that was a yes for you. Like that in his letter, in the missive that he sent to you, that that kind of offhand remark about the city of brass, you were sounded like you were all in right
That's
away.
it. That's it. Blah blah blah. City of Brass. Blah blah blah.
I'll be
You
right
have me
there.
at City of Brass.
And what does someone first notice about Ahmed when they greet you for the first time?
Um, that he has a very easygoing demeanor, and he has a greets you with a smile, and that's like a friend.
Mm,
And he's a man who appears very humble. He doesn't seem to carry much. He is very comfortable in his skin, but he is clearly a traveler. He has things he's picked up around the world, like affectations and
mm,
habits, and like the way he makes tea. And he's very precise, but
mm.
he's very, if he has it, he shares it. And, you know, he's a gracious world traveler. How's that?
I like that. That's very cool.
That and the fact he's got this little lizard thing disappearing in and out of. If you look carefully, it's like, wait a minute, there's something sitting on his shoulder because it's chameleon-like and blends in
Oh,
color.
right. That's right. Okay, very cool. So we are playing AD&D First Edition. We're playing high-level AD&D.
Which
Um,
none of us ever got to in the day.
yeah, Ahmed is a 13th level magic user. Erlen is a multi-classed elf fighter, magic user, thief. Level 5, level 9, and level 11, I think, right? Isn't that right? Erlen.
Correct.
Oh, wow. And I am going to try and play AD&D as close to or run AD&D as close to canon as I can. The Dungeon Master Guide is a pretty remarkable piece of work. I've heard it best described as a collection of articles. So I'm going to really lean into those rules and those that 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 tone of those rules in our play, and I'm going to try to do everything I can by the book. I'm not a rules master. I think I'm kind of barely scratching the surface. But Anthony Huso, the author of this module and a few other modules, has really embraced AD&D 1E as his one true rule set. And he's got a number of inspirational articles, blog posts about what AD&D 1E play looks like. I will link those in the show notes so that if you're interested in checking those out, you can. We'll be using things like segments in combat, weapon speeds, armor class adjustments, potions, consumption times, spell casting times, all of this stuff, all of the things that make AD&D what it is. A lot of things that maybe we didn't play with when we were kids because it was like, what? And I really, when I went back to the source material and tried to understand a few of these things, I had a big what too at 48 years of age. And I had to read, supporting articles and try to piece things together and say, oh, I think I understand how that works. So I'm going to try to make this seamless for you guys so that you don't feel that same level of pressure, but that is going to be sort of what's happening behind the scenes anyway. Any questions about that? Are you,
I'm
and I,
glad you're running that part of it because AD&D, the full-on combat system, is always intimidated me because we can never get it to work right. So
okay, I think
glad for you to give it a whirl.
yeah, I think it should be pretty smooth and fluid. At
Yeah,
least
especially
that's,
once we get everything filled in the character sheets.
yeah. And again, the Roll20 character sheets may not do everything that we want them to do. You're very welcome to keep a character sheet in paper, scribble in your notebook, whatever works for you. I'm not going to require you to roll specifically from the character sheet, but if you find that helpful, you could do that. Blah, blah, blah. I have created macros for you that for standard dice. You'll find those in the macro field. If you want to add them as buttons, you can. So if I were to say, roll a d10 for me or something, you could quickly do that. Or of course, you could always do /R and then whatever the die matrix that you're trying to roll is. Well, I think that's good enough for an intro. We have our characters prepared and we're ready for adventure. So Warmus, after your arrival, he explains that he will send you to the plane to the city of Brass, that place that's trapped between the plane of fire and earth. And he's in a sense demanding that that you recover for him a book from the library. And he tells you he's never been to the city of Brass, though he introduces you to a almost like a servant who has, and this is kind of like an old man, older than even Warmus, if that was possible, because Warmus is pretty aged and maybe a little crazy, but really, really dangerous. Peter, you're a level 13 magic user.
He's past it.
Warmus surpasses you by leaps and bounds. And it's a little intimidating to be in his presence, though, also kind of very exciting, especially, with this opportunity of going to the city. He introduces you to this servant who doesn't speak. In fact, his tongue's been removed. And Ormus says, this fellow came into my service years ago, with a tale of the city of Brass, and has told tales of visiting himself. And he will serve as your guide because it's, I won't dare to disdain myself, with a visit to the city myself. I'm
What can you
too
tell us
old and it's too dangerous, and why go myself when I can
Send us.
send you to recover the knowledge that I seek. So there's a great library in the city of Brass, somewhere in the northeast of the city. And this fellow, while he's been to the city, has never been inside. So he will guide you and he will wait for you. Prepare yourselves, for in the dawn you will depart.
What can you tell us about this book? Just so we can recognize it and make sure we get the right book.
And say all the words. May not get every syllable right.
So the book that he seeks is something that you'll know it because it will be the largest book in the library.
By
It's
size?
by size and by dimension. It stands as tall as a man and is, an arm length thick.
Wow.
A great red cover with the blazing bronze effigy.
Okay.
And it contains certain knowledge and certain incantations that I require for my research and my curiosity. And it's this book that I would have you recover. The Great Book of the City of Brass.
Well, that definitely sounds like a great book indeed.
How the hell are we going to carry that?
That was my question, is how are we going to carry something that big? I don't think we can carry something big. without adjusting its size and some weight.
Sure. So if it was, you know, it probably weighs about 300 or 400 pounds. It's large, and
I can only conjure an earth elemental for 13 turns.
Mm-hmm.
a turn is 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's 130 minutes. So yeah, we'd have to need a way to reduce the weight of it in some way.
Maybe I should trade my wand of negation in for that bag of holding.
Still wouldn't fit inside of it. We just have to reduce its size, the physical dimensions.
Mm,
It's as tall as a man. Well, let's see what we got on our character sheets. What spells do we have in pockets?
So I'll ask you too if there are any preparations that you wish to make, understanding where you're going now and who will take you and who you will travel with. If there are or any additional information that you want to seek from Wormus himself.
let me check. I wonder if we can. How did we open up the spell?
Sorry, what's the
Clicking on.
question there?
Oh, I need to. I click.
You click on the listing in the spreadsheet, and then it opens up a little link, and you
Tab.
click on the
Yeah.
link, and then it goes.
I'm just seeing if there's a spell we can get a scroll or a potion of.
Mm-hmm. Potion will do us some sort of strength. I think we need to reduce the size of the entity.
Either change size or have it float after it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a shrink spell?
That's a good question. I don't know. Because,
An unseen servant could carry it, couldn't it?
no, it's limited to 200 gold piece weight, which is about 20 pounds, right, Aaron? Is that right?
100 gold pieces is 10 pounds.
So 200 gold
Levitate.
pieces.
If you could levitate the item, we could then push it while it floated, maybe. I don't know if we'd levitate the item or we would levitate ourselves. I don't know if you can use it on something else.
So Wormus kind of listening to your kind of discussions and conversations and ponderings and musings over how you'll manage this great book,
If we can even find it.
Oh,
right,
I think we.
sort of shakes his head, um, you know, totters over to a shelf and pulls down a small scroll, really a scrap of paper, and flings it at the two of you.
One side is
I'm
his
shocked and
laundry.
surprised that um, Tinser's floating disc isn't among your repertoire.
Oh, it isn't.
It actually isn't. It's just kind of hilarious, really.
We were just talking about that one Thursday night too.
We
Take
were.
this thing, study it well, and be gone with you. I tire of your prattling.
He tires of us.
Yes, well,
He
Well,
turns to
we'll
he sort of leans over the large desk, kind of it's almost slash desk workbench, and, starts, poring over another large book. This one, nowhere near the size of a man, just.
mm-hmm. Bid you good
So
day.
you now have a Tinser's floating disk scroll. It's
scroll.
really a scrap of paper, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know
Do you want to
this.
write that down, Brian, or shall I?
You can go ahead and write it down. So it's normally durations 1 round per level. So
Oh, good. I'm 13th level.
well, that's 13 minutes. Well, hopefully we can get out of the city quickly. But yeah, it is interesting. Neither one of us do have Tensor's floating disk. Oh, sorry, it's Tensor's transformation. I'm in the wrong section. Hold on. Turn to the right Tensor spell, Brian.
It's 3
Yep.
turns plus 1 turn per level. Turns
The
10
turn is 10
minutes.
minutes.
So that would be
Quite some time.
130, 160 turns. Sorry, 16 turns, 160 minutes.
So not quite 3 hours.
That's enough time to float it out, or
I hope so. That's what we got to work with, right?
that's it. Let's hope we're not on the run.
What? What are you talking about? This never happens.
Okay, anything else that you want to set your minds to before we prepare for our departure?
No, I think I've got my rations and basic stuff like that. I bought a staff.
Okay, great.
And just so you understand how I entered things on the character sheet, under armor, I put the bracers defense, on shield, I put ring of protection. So that just to remind me why I have an AC of 3.
Oh,
Good
right.
for leading the
That's
Right,
fight.
right,
pretty
right.
good AC for a wizard.
Yeah, it's very good armor class for a wizard.
My AC is 7, so yes, your AC is very good.
Wizards and Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Best not to be seen.
all right. Dawn comes soon enough for the next day, uh, and it's the old man that comes tottering to the bedchamber that the two of you are sharing, and leads you out in the gloom of the rising dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your apartments, if they could be called that, are in a tower opposite of the one where you greeted Warmos.
Mm-hmm.
And this old man leads you steadily down a winding staircase, a circular staircase down out into the courtyard. And as you're descending this staircase, the you can feel the warmth of the day sort of starting to take hold, and it's very, very foggy out. And when you step out into the courtyard, and he leads you across the courtyard, something what must be like 3 times over, and he and you're climbing over sort of broken rubble and fallen walls, and he leads you on and on and on. And as the sun rises, you begin to see that it is uh, you're in a different place. The hue, the tone, and the color of the place is off. It's different. It's not what you expect. Let's see if this is going to work.
Small picture.
Yeah, sorry about the handout, as it were. I guess it's the way I've scaled this first map on the Roll20. And I haven't really done this as a handout. I just scrabbled it out of my library. And but this is what greets your senses as the sun sort of rises in the in the east, still rising in the east.
The city appears to
Let's do
shimmer out of
this.
the morning light.
Mm-hmm. There we go. there, and you can see on a hill some way distant, the city gleaming in the rising sun. There is and as you're kind of walking towards the city, you come on a great monument, a statue, a sphinx that is sort of pointing one of its great wings out towards the city itself. And it's here where the guide stops and gestures you on and sits down on the stoop of the on the pedestal of the statue itself, looming over him. What will you do?
We wish him well and
Mhm.
turn to head towards the city.
Okay.
Exactly.
Um, so this is the little handout that I'm sharing with you here on the Roll20. This is really the color and the tone and the feel of the place. You know, and you
Mhm.
can see the hazy sort of mirage of the city in the distance.
Mhm.
And you know the colors are kind of off and a little peculiar and slightly strange. And you start to feel almost sick to your stomach as you take a step and um, you don't quite cover the distance that you expect to, or you take two steps and you're 30 feet from where you should have been to the left or the right. You know, there's kind of this very strange kind of stuttering um, effect of, you know, moving through this place. And
Mhm.
um, light and distances, you know, your perspectives are all goofed up and it's a little uncomfortable. It's like kind of um, like a weird science fiction horror movie where you're sort of take a few steps and take one back and, you know, shudder and shake until like you can stop and try to get your bearings again and then move on.
Mhm. Trying to acclimate to how this plane operates.
hmm It's foreign. It's clearly
Mhm.
incredibly foreign.
Mhm.
So you do arrive at the.
Oh. Mhm.
Go ahead. Did you have a question?
No, I was gonna say hopefully by the time we arrive to the city gates, we're at least walking somewhat normally, however long it takes us to get there.
Yeah, nothing ever becomes normal, but it does. It does start to feel
Manageable.
manageable, right?
Mhm.
You start to become accustomed a little bit to it, but it's definitely. I just want to impress upon you the strangeness.
It's like a stuttering in time.
hmm Right. This stutter, this stalling, and this almost like a rewinding. It does
Mhm.
take you, um, it does take you some time to reach the city, and now you find yourselves at the gates. The city sits out on a peninsula.
I'll be
Uh,
right back.
sure.
Don't wait for me.
Oh, that's fine. Let's see if this is going to work. Should work. Yeah, working. While Peter stepped away, I think it'd probably be a good chance for us to just, I'll take 5. I'll be right back too, Brian.
Okay, I'll grab some tea.
Sorry about that.
All right,
Oh,
I am back.
me too. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's no problem.
Just my bladder was reminding me that you don't own coffee, you rent it.
Yeah, I use the same opportunity.
Oh, I'm looking for a nice blue-green water on his face. I'm painting Ahmed.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that that photo. I know you shared it with us in the Discord. Yeah, that Bones figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
On
you'll
that
have to.
micro art space.
Cool.
Yeah, quite a while back. Micro arts. Oh my God, maybe I don't know. One of the miniatures, one of the online miniatures groups, companies, online game store, I guess is what it is, had micro art bases on sale, and they were just like dirt cheap. I figured,
Mm,
oh, they're probably blowing out the resin because those new plastic inserts are so nice because they were new at the time.
mm-hmm.
And so I ordered a bunch, and they're all the plastic inserts. I'm like, fuck, these are great.
All right, I'm back, gentlemen.
Great, great. And you,
The city is on a peninsula. Is the last thing I remember saying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I've shifted you over in your map in the Roll20, and you should now be able to see I have one token that's present,
Yes, let me see.
Ah,
and
There we
we're
are.
using dynamic lighting with restricted line of sight and all of that stuff.
Perfect. Excellent. Makes sense.
So you should be able to discover the city
Mm-hmm.
through play, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And as you climb the rise towards the city, you can see that it's on a peninsula that juts out over it's like on a plateau here that juts out over a sea of fire. It's quite high, but it looks quite precarious as this little peninsula jutting off this plateau kind of suspends the city there,
Mm-hmm.
out above this sea of fire, molten magma, and roiling sulfurous clouds.
hmm.
And you said it was going to be pretty here.
The
It's all
city itself
perspective.
is bounded uh, by huge black walls.
Mm-hmm.
They soar 120 feet or more into the sky, and great towers uh, billow up out of those walls, with big golden domed caps in some instances.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see as you're kind of climbing up towards following this broad road, I guess, as it sweeps up this hill to the gates, and the one of the gates is ajar.
That is very helpful
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Because
going
we're thirsty.
to I'm going to give you 2 temporary tokens for your characters. So think about this map in the terms of uh, 10-foot squares.
Mm-hmm.
So your tokens will be scaled appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to
Do we see
give,
anyone visibly on the walls or the tower
ah,
gate?
no, it's quiet. And the city itself is shrouded in this sort of ruddy pink mist or fog.
Right.
And you can see it sort of spilling out of the open gateway there.
Hmm. All right.
Let's see here.
but the pink fog is not outside. It's coming out of the city.
Right, right. It's like sort of sourced from the city itself.
Hmm.
It's like kind of fog might be too strong a word. Maybe like smoke. You know how we had all the fires.
Sure.
You know, and you can almost you smell it you before you even climb the hill. You know,
Almost like
sickly sweet and almost sticky in your nostrils.
Mm.
Let's see here, tokens. I have some of those.
Did your master mention anything like this? Is this potentially poisonous, or is this safe? It's my question to Ahmed.
Well, nothing here is truly safe. We're of neither worlds. We're in the worlds between. I've heard of walls of fire. I've heard of doors of glass. I've heard of unseen inhabitants. Um, but no, not poison. I've never heard of poison air. Master didn't speak of that.
So I have given you uh, both a token.
Hmm.
Let's see, and
Where am I?
they are controlled by each of you. Oh, they're
Where are they?
south. Hang on, let me shift ping you.
Yeah.
They're here.
Okay. Why they're not showing up for me?
Let me fix that.
I can see both.
Yeah, I see neither, and everything's dark.
Okay,
Mm.
working on it.
Stay on target.
Mm.
I've been watching Seth MacFarlane's show, the Orville, and I have to say I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's quite
Mm.
good.
It's Star Trek Next Generation with an inappropriate humor.
Has there been any new stuff? I think I know we saw this first season.
I saw the
Um,
first season because I got the discs on Netflix.
mm,
Apparently, season 2 is finished and season 3 is not.
so you should be able to see now, Peter.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'm the book.
You're the
So
book. I'm the keys or the arrows or whatever those are.
So each of these tokens, I'm trying something new with the Roll20 environment. Each of these tokens is explicitly controlled by you and
Okay.
has a line of sight associated by you. So um, you will only see the thing that your token can see.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And because I'm trying to lean into that idea, the tool, providing that whole experience, right?
Hmm.
Leveraging the tool to do that.
Hmm.
So Ahmed, your token is the book. Uh, Erlen, your token is the crossed arrows. We can change those as you like,
Oh,
session
works.
And
over session.
Erlen and I, we've adventured before because he's good at finding things, and I'm a seeker, and so
Mm,
Hmm.
we've been on similar. We've
Hmm.
done things before. We know we can trust each other,
Yeah, and so what
which
I'm
is
going to go ahead and do is pull up the flap that covers my nose and mouth on my cloak and pull my hood over my head so that my elven cloak is fully engaged.
mm,
So even in the brightest of light, it's only a 50% chance of seeing me at this point.
okay.
So
I love that.
whoosh.
Well, it's kind of like Opie, just doesn't. It's hard to see, and he doesn't leave any trace.
Hmm. So which of the two doors was ajar? Did you say, Aaron?
I'm working on it here. It's this one here.
The right one. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see it. It leads into a broad courtyard
Okay.
with a big pool that sort of stands in front of the gate there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's translucent. And as you look out across the pool, you can see that it's looking down into that sea of fire. It's probably
Sure.
about a foot and a half deep, the pool.
Floors of glass.
Mm-hmm. Let's not drop any heavy objects
No.
or sing too high.
How deep does the water appear to be?
Maybe a foot and a half deep.
All right.
It's more like a reflection pool.
Is there a way around it?
You see what you see.
Okay.
Let's see how far your light is. What's going on with your?
So it looks like no matter what, we're going to have to cross some part of it.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can see with my token here.
And yeah, what's peculiar here is that, the mist is kind of reducing your vision,
Sure.
where you can't see terribly far. You
Mm-hmm.
should be able to see out to about here, which is 60
I can.
feet. Sorry?
And it gets dim. About. Let's see. Yeah, my measuring tool. Measure.
Um,
It's clear to here,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there to that last bit, it looks dim to me.
Yeah, and that's
Makes sense.
that's in line with the environment.
Excellent. Perfect. That helps. All right.
okay. My familiar doesn't fly around or crawl around a lot. He sticks with me and looks around, and I believe I can see through his eyes. Isn't that the way familiars work?
Mm-hmm.
Speaks
I'm gonna
telepathically, I know.
make an adjustment here.
So I'm just watching for invisible, is what I'm
I
saying.
see. Sure.
So that's all you really. Okay.
And whatever else my pseudo dragon might spot.
Sure.
I like to think it's hard to sneak up on me.
Yes, doubly so. Let's see here. So I've made some adjustments to those tokens. As you know, you kind of peering through this gate and looking out into the courtyard, and your eyes kind of adjusting to the smoky dimness.
I'm going to carefully take a step, sticking fairly close to the wall, just because I don't want to be an obvious target, silhouetted as we are in the door.
Thwack! Why?
I've just heard legends that the city is inhabited. It may look empty, but there are those living. There are some living.
Which is why I am looking as stealthy as I can at the moment.
Exactly.
I will presume that there are watchers and hope they are not as good. I think you're choosing the shorter path there. So we can step into this pool, I guess.
Yeah, you can. Maybe maybe what might be useful in this instance is to just draw a path about where you plan to go,
Okay.
and then I can
Polyline.
set the scene from there.
Okay, so I'm gonna go boop, boop, boop. That's kind of my intended path there.
Yeah. Sticking close to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Shortest path across, but I'm moving slowly.
Sure.
Just because I don't want to create too many ripples.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see that. So let's see here.
And as I'm moving across, my eyes are scanning the whole area in front and behind as I walk carefully across.
Okay.
Sorry, I hope that's not too noisy.
Oh, no, that's fine.
That's okay.
Oops. All right. Yeah, so go ahead and why don't you go ahead and move your tokens out,
Okay.
to those positions. Let's see, we have to figure out what your movement rates are. I think it's probably 60.
Yeah, I didn't tally up all my weight.
Obviously, I can't figure. I have not added that in yet, so it'd be a good
Yeah,
time
that
for me
I
to
think
enter
that
it.
I don't, it's probably too early in the morning
Hmm.
and too late in our first session to try to sort that stuff out, but I think I would encourage you to do it just to
Hmm.
have that frame
Very
of
good.
reference about,
Well,
um,
I actually have on here movement base 12, run 120, north
Yeah,
equal
those are all
6.
the defaults, but it hasn't been
Oh,
adjusted for what the weight
gotcha.
we're currently carrying.
right. And I think 12 is the starting weights, right? I
Hmm.
think
It
it
is.
goes 12, 9, 6.
Hmm.
Those are the steps. So you guys are pretty lightly encumbered right now, I would say. So I would give you all a movement rate of 12.
Okay.
Um,
Excellent.
Especially Ahmed and Erlen, you can go lightly encumbered if you want, but you would just have to lean into that in your character as
Hmm.
you refine your character sheet over the next few sessions.
Hmm.
Or you could go as medium at 9.
Hmm.
Whoops.
Well, I'm definitely not moving my fastest rate because I'm trying to not draw attention. So,
I say cautious advance.
well,
Um, I,
I'd say we're probably moving max of 9
I
anyway.
guess my question for you, Erlen, are you going? Did you go into the city? Did you set out on this adventure as lightly encumbered as possible, or are you carrying a moderate amount of equipment?
Somewhere between moderate and light. I mean, he's got gear, right? He's got rope and
Okay, so
tools and stuff.
we'll
Not,
set you at 9 for now,
that
um,
seems fair.
and then as for next session, we'll revisit that.
Exactly. And I've
um,
thrown my equipment on my sheet. I just haven't gone and added
sure,
it
sure,
yet. I forgot to
sure,
do that this morning.
sure, no problem, problem. Okay, so there's a couple of things that need to happen here. And I'm wondering how I'm going to do it.
Oh, you can do it, window. Yes.
What are you
A
doing
little.
there?
He's trying to fit windows into his frames.
Yeah, and the whole thing is designed to actually snap fit. You're not supposed to need glue.
Oh, right,
There's a
right,
little
right,
bit of
right.
tightness
And
to it.
yeah, with plastics, you want to be careful of super glues anyway.
Hmm.
So I got this other glue because the little windows are a little loose and there's just enough glue in there, but these big ones are super snug, so I might not need to.
That's cool.
Peeling all the frisket off is quite entertaining.
Okay, so you make it into the courtyard here. You're your boots are a little wet,
Hmm.
but no worse for the wear. Out here, you can see like um, vines and climbing flowers and things like that. That's what these scribbles represent on the map.
Okay.
And we entered in the south of the city, you said.
Correct.
So we need to
The
head
city stretches out
northeast.
north
Northeast is
Oh,
before
where the
you,
library
and
is.
great. I didn't catch that. So, okay, so our entrance was from the
it's
south.
broad. I mean, you know,
This place is huge.
yeah, looking to the east and west when you're at the gates, those walls just run off to the edge of the peninsula, you know, because the peninsula itself makes a formidable barrier.
Mhm.
A precipice over lava and fire does that.
Just a little. So I'm
Okay.
assuming that these vines and crawling plants are they of a variety that I recognize? Or I'm assuming they're probably not. Are they? Right.
They don't look they don't appear to be, but would you like to spend some time?
No, I'm
Yes,
just
I'm
kind of
gonna.
looking at them. Well, he's up there. He's gonna take a look. I'm gonna move that away. Oh, I can see. Oh, is there an arrow slit on our level for the tower here
The
area?
tower soars above you, but you can see an arrow slit there, some 80 feet. The
Up in
walls
the air,
up
right?
in the air. It's at
Okay.
120 actually.
Okay.
The walls are 120, and then that's like sort of the tower looking out over the courtyard.
Okay. I can just kind of see through the arrow slit a little bit
Well,
in
you
the
can see that there's one up
POV.
there. Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
way up
like,
there.
you know, trying to glimpse what's up there, you kind of can. You know,
Okay.
if you stand at just the right angle, you can kind of see a little bit through it, but it's, you know, it's
Okay.
dim and it's dark and it's
Mm-hmm.
not exactly
80 feet in
clear.
the air.
Yeah.
120 feet. Yeah, it's a ways. All right.
And a lot of that is your mind sort of, you know, filling in the blanks of that must be what's up there.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All right.
All
Okay.
right.
So I was
So,
doing that while he was taking a look at the plant there.
right, right. So checking out these plants. Yeah, they're like a kind of like a persimmon. It sort of grows on a sprawling bush and purple and brown, but it gleams from within it. And there's like a faint there's like it's like glistening with condensation, maybe from the mist here in the in the uh, in the city itself.
Oh, fascinating. Well, I'm not ready to try eating things yet, but who knows? We might have to, if we go out the main door, maybe we'll pluck some on the way out and take with us.
Mm-hmm.
I say we head on because we need to go northeast,
Me
Okay.
too.
right? That's what the directions of the
Yeah.
library is in the northeast of town.
Yep.
So up and to the right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a surprise check here
Oh,
for
don't
you
worry, we are
guys.
surprised.
No no dex adjustments, right? Reaction adjustments.
Unfortunately, unless you want to give me something because I'm an awesome elf. So there's none.
You're
My dex is
charming,
not good enough.
charming. Heck of a dancer too.
Yeah, my dex is just 11, so there's no bonus there, Aaron.
Okay. Um, and let's see.
Ooh, is that a tie? A 5 and a 5?
No, it's a 5 from a earlier
Oh,
earlier roll. Okay. Hang on, just taking some notes here.
yeah, go ahead.
Hmm. As long as
Sent
it's
you
not an
guys a
unseen lurker, we should
yeah,
be.
sent you guys a picture of my fireplace running here. We got the insert in, waiting for the new shroud to come in, but
Is
I
this
didn't
in
think it.
Discord?
Yeah, I like the fact that I can just set this thing to a temperature and just runs when it needs to.
Oh, wow. How nice.
Yeah. So the library's feeling like a library now that's kind of cooler weather. So
I like your trees.
yeah, the trees that need to get finished. Err.
Hang on, gents. I'll be right back with you.
Go ahead. We'll chat about trees and fireplaces.
You enlarged the window in that room.
No, we actually didn't. It's just brightened the paint a bit,
Oh,
and
so
then that fireplace is now white, and it was kind of a pink color before.
it just looks so much larger. I figured it was just more light or larger.
What we did do is where my desk is used to be the main entrance door, and we walled it off. It's just a window now. So there actually is more light coming in here, yes. So yeah. So my
It's not
desk
my imagination.
No, it's really nice. And
It
that
looks
table where the
great.
trees are on, that's a big craft table on wheels.
Very handy.
Yeah, I got that for free. A friend of a coworker's had this design. She's a silk artist.
Mm-hmm.
She does silk paintings, and she and her husband were officially retiring and downsizing, and she had this made by a carpenter for her years ago, and so it's walnut and oak
Nice.
made to her standards, and then she was going to just get rid of it, but she was wondering if someone wanted it, and so you open it up and it's got a built-in stretcher for silk, which I can't use, but um, it's on casters, and so which you can lock. So it's a little taller than a normal table, but the fact that it's on casters, I can wheel it around or pop the casters off, and I've got a normal, really wide table. That's where we do a lot of the gaming on. So
Did you post that to the Discord?
I
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your new fireplace running?
That's the new
Yep.
fireplace. Yeah, that shroud's going to be titanium when they actually get the real one in, put in, painted. But
Then it'll be the Shroud of Brian.
That looks great, Brian. Where did
no,
where
it is.
where did you find that? Did you have to run
There's
gas over there, or what did you do?
yes, we ran a gas line over.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, a little company in Campbell
Yeah,
sells
we
cozy
went to the
heat.
same place. That's where we got
Okay, you know
ours
exactly
too.
what it is,
Yeah.
cozy heat. Yeah, so
Uh,
it's cool.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, because now I'm feeling hot. I gotta turn it down. It's too hot, too warm.
Yeah, it's California. It's not even. I don't know.
I know. We suffer.
We do.
No, no, we don't.
Dave sent me pictures of he and his kids doing their trick or treating at Halloween, and they're all completely bundled up in big coats because they're in Germany.
Mm,
hmm
yeah. My
Yeah. Any
college
snow?
roommate who's in.
Any snow
Not
yet?
yet.
No. Yeah, so it's still tolerable, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, we were in Boise to see one of my college roommates, and it is all the trees are dropping their leaves, and they have these great big, huge orange and yellow leaves everywhere in their neighborhood.
Oh, it's so
Beautiful.
pretty.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Alamo has that for about a week.
Yeah. We get it in probably about 2 or 3 weeks as all of the leaves in the neighborhood dump onto my lawn because I'm downwind of everybody.
Nice.
Yeah. Reason why I have 2 giant green bins with my place, and they're not enough during this season.
I bet.
Not even mulched. It's like,
It's too much to compost. Yeah.
oh, dude, it's just first year we raked it onto the driveway, not knowing what we needed to do. And I kid you not, I had half my driveway up to my knees in leaves.
I believe it.
So if you need leaves, Peter, for anything, or you want some composting, now's the time to start letting me know. Happy to give you bags of whatever you
Have
want.
you seen the acre I live on?
I know, but I'm
We
always
got
looking
plenty
at
of leaves.
leaves. I know you do. But I'm willing to share, Peter. I'm willing to share.
And I love that about you, Brian.
And you're like, yeah, that's not the thing I want, man.
You're a giving guy. Yeah.
Give me the money and we'll talk. There we go.
I hope he's not about to kill us.
So you see a stirring from this tower.
Which tower?
Hang on a second. I have to get the right.
Is it the witch tower?
You see a stirring from behind this tower, and a figure like leans out and fires down at fires a bow down at Ahmed. And these
Okay.
flashing pink bolts of energy come flying down from the tower. So we're in a combat round.
So do you want
And
to ping which tower that is, Aaron? I didn't see
yeah,
the
sure.
thing. If you
Sorry, I
did.
probably pinged it on the GM layer.
There you go. I got it now. Okay. I thought it was like right over my head. Okay. So I'm seeing this happen because I'm
Right,
behind him. Okay.
right. And
So, and this is 120
the way I
tall.
understand a melee round to work is that um, you do missile fire at the beginning and then at the end, um, and
Mm,
then and then you have segments. You have 10 segments in the round. A segment is 6 seconds,
mm-hmm.
and depending on your initiative roll, tells you where the winners what segment the winner starts on and what segment the loser starts on. So, but because it's missile fire right now, and the rate of fire for a bow is typically 2. So there's a volley of missiles at the beginning and a volley of missiles at the end
Okay.
of the segment. So this
So missile
first,
beginning, missile end.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's the way it works. And I'll be reading more about this, and
It's how it works today, and as you understand
That's
it,
it.
fine.
That's fine.
right. So
Which, by the way, also brings back nostalgia hits because that happened in all the games.
what's that? Oh, like I don't
This is
know
how we're
how.
playing it this week, and then hey, and it may change when we figure something out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Um, so there's this bolt of pink energy flings down the.
Oh, that's not this one. It's on that one. So bolt of
So your
pink energy.
Thaco, let's see, what's your armor class there?
3.
3. And his Thaco is, I believe it's 16.
Oh, oh, thank you. Huh.
15.
I think my MHI book finally arrived. Only 9 minutes late, but hey.
Oh. Um,
I'll do that later.
what book arrived?
My Monster Hunter International
Oh,
setting.
it's an RPG book, isn't it?
Yeah.
For,
For
is it
Larry
like,
Corrigan's Monster Hunter series.
yeah.
It's a good series of books.
Is it its own rule book, or does it use something else, or
Savage Worlds is the
Savage Worlds, right?
systems. So it's just a setting book, so you have to have the core rules, but it should be cool. I like that universe. So, ooh, I like that, Aaron. You can keep rolling ones.
Yeah.
Twing!
So
Do we hear some cursing from up above too?
I'm trying to think about oh yeah. So this flashing bolt of pink energy flies out of the tower and splashes well short of Ahmed. And then, yeah, so
I
that would be
like
the
that.
first volley of missiles, and then we would go into segments, and I would tell you on which segments you can act. And you don't see any other movement from up in this tower. So you guys
Mm-hmm.
have this round to act, and you can take round of your full round of movement because you don't see any other foes or enemies
Mm-hmm.
here in the
Hmm.
courtyard.
Do you have a target? Can you hit him with your bow or something?
Well, unfortunately, being a thief, I can't use a bow. Oh, shoot, wait, I can use
You
a
could
bow.
use a
Yep,
short bow. Well, certainly you're an elf.
Mm, I think in this set, thieves don't use bows.
thieves don't use bows, and it's one
Oh,
of those
but you're
things.
a fighter, so you
But
can.
I'm a
You could
fighter,
you
so I guess I
use
could
all
have picked up a
weapons.
bow.
You
I
damn
didn't.
well would have a bow. Yes, you have a bow, for God's sakes. You're going on an adventure. You're going to have a bow and 20 arrows.
I like
No,
it
I'm,
as well.
no, I'm serious. You're going to need the ranged ability. You know that. And you're
Yes,
going into an urban environment where you may need to shoot. So
I
you
like
would
how this
have that.
works.
Well, you didn't take it because you thought you couldn't, right?
That is true.
But if you knew you could, you would because you're
Right,
a
Yes.
freaking
right.
11th level fighter.
I'm totally okay with that. That's
Yeah, I mean
totally
that's
Okay.
the narrative. I figure that's not
right.
cheating.
No,
That's
no,
the narrative. Yeah.
right.
And I don't have one of those in my robe. A
Ah,
boat I got.
A boat.
I can,
Do you say
yeah.
boat or do you say bow? Boat? No,
Boat.
bow. Boat. No, bow. That won't help us. Don't put your boat out. I don't
So
need
if
it
you
again.
think you can take a shot with your bow, go ahead. Otherwise, I have 3 magic
See
missiles,
a
which would be
target.
6 each.
10, 15. Do I see a target arrow?
Is he still
I
leaning
mean,
over?
it's a narrow arrow slit, and it would be pretty
Could be a hell of
difficult
a shot.
to shoot back at um, whoever is has fired down on you from this position. It's like
Hmm.
120 feet into the air into an arrow slit, that type. Quite
It
challenging.
would be quite miraculous. Um, hmm. Well, we could take a shot anyway, right? Nothing else. It gets him to
So you
duck
would shoot
back.
at the end, not at the
Right.
beginning,
That'll be in the second round of missile fire,
right?
which is
Because while you're not surprised, well, I guess you could shoot in you could counterfire and shoot in the first. So yeah, if that's what you want to do, but you don't have a shot from where you are. So there you go.
so I need to move anyway to get some sort of
Yeah, you'd need to almost be sort of directly in front of it to be able to try to hope to be able to fire into that arrow
Like
slit.
right
like a
Yeah,
sniper.
there.
yeah.
Okay. And I will go ahead and
So these are
move.
10-foot squares.
Oh,
Each
that's right.
round you can move each
We
segment.
said
You
9
could
that we
be,
said, right?
yeah. So
So that's going to be
uh, that would
1,
be
really.
30. Each segment you could move 30 up to your 90, right? And then
Mm.
you can have it your attacks in one of those segments as well. So
Okay, so
you're
I
moving
could actually move to the
or you're
top square.
casting or you're shooting or you're doing something in a
Mhm.
segment. So you could take it looks like it'd be two moves over there
Yeah.
and to be able to then take your shot at the end of the round up into that arrow
Yep.
slit.
I think that's what we're going to have to do. I don't have another
I
option.
could take a magic missile, but it seems overkill.
Hmm.
Potentially. Uh, Let me take a look at my spell list real. I don't think I've got anything. I don't think I got
And you'll
anything.
see in your spell lists the casting time, right? And it's usually
Hmm.
reflected in segments.
Yeah.
So you would start casting on, like, say, segment 2, and it would take you 6
3 or
segments. So
4
that means
segments.
the spell would go off on segment 8.
Hmm.
And if you were hit before then you would lose the
The
spell,
spell
right?
would be
Or
disrupted.
people would be
Correct.
moving around, and
And you go.
that's the whole principle behind the whole segment thing, right?
Sure.
And I don't think I've got a spell that's going to do us any good at this point.
So I guess the question is, are you guys moving before the end of the round and the second volley of arrows?
Well, I'd like to get up against the wall, make myself a harder target
Sure.
at least. Well,
Where do you want to move to? You can just go
I
ahead.
think right that
Okay.
should probably work.
Okay. Yeah, like
And
you're like up against the wall now, and you can tell that the arrow, there's no clear line of sight to where you are.
right, but I'm also going to see because it looks like there's a tower on the other side, and I just want to watch and see if I see movement over there as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, Peter, do we want to maybe just avoid this combat as much as possible and
I
head
would
back up
like to
this
see if we
way?
can. If there's not a lot
Okay.
of shooting at us, if it's a shot we get past, then let's try not to.
Okay, so I'm going to just move then. My intent is to move over towards here, Aaron. I don't know.
Yeah. So you have 90 feet of movement, Brian.
So 1,
It would
2,
be done in in 30-foot increments per segment, but
looks
you
about
know,
4
you have
squares.
uh, a square is 10 feet, so you have 90 feet
So,
of movement.
so it's 37.7 feet. So I call that
35.
35. Okay, so I'll go up here.
Okay.
All right, that's what I'm going to do for this point, since I don't really have a great shot.
Mm-mm. And if we can avoid antagonizing the inhabitant, it might be best.
Eh, well, it's also only maybe a D6 if I can land a shot. It's not
Right.
possible. It's already a hard shot, so
But if
at
we get
most
in
I
a
could get the duck
crossfire, I
back.
will magic missile.
Okay.
Good. I'll
Okay.
probably do that
So,
indoor.
everything is still, and the haze and the smoke is sort of continuing to waft here.
Mhm.
There's nothing. You guys are both up against the the tower walls there, and nothing can shoot at you
Mhm.
because of how you're out of its line of sight.
Mhm. And I'm also fully cloaked, so at best there's a 50% chance of them seeing me, non-magically speaking. So.
Right, but you'd have to, yeah, so you're kind of hiding now. You're taking that opportunity to sort of blend into
Mhm.
the wall and in your surroundings. And um, so it would, yeah, but if you're moving, that's a different thing. If you're hiding, that's one thing, but if you're moving, that's a
No,
different
not
thing.
talking about my thief abilities. I'm talking about the elven cloak.
Oh, the Elven
Right.
Cloak itself, it just inherently hides you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Makes you
Yeah.
hard to see.
okay,
Yeah.
It's
cool.
basically Galadriel's cloak.
Yeah.
Okay, and is
So
it,
in the brightest of light, there's a 50% chance of them seeing me, and otherwise it gets dramatically lower after that. So unless I'm doing violent actions, in which case, you can't be invisible unless you're invisible in fight. So
right, and violent actions would be
shooting a bow.
shooting a bow or running across the courtyard or
Sprint.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can definitely lean into that.
No, it's totally
I think
fair.
we're just
Just want to know it's there.
establishing some
Yeah.
principles, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to try and skirt around the tower where my.
Okay. You do that, and it's no longer a combat round because now it's quiet. There's nothing, nothing, no bolts of lightning continue to fall from the tower.
Okay. I will work my way around the tower, hugging against it
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Cool.
I think up to there. Okay, now I can see. Ah! I assume these are kind of like steps going down into the
Yes, they do
courtyard.
go down into this courtyard. And here, as you move into the
Down,
courtyard, go ahead.
down or up?
They're
Down.
going down.
Okay.
See, there's an directional arrow. I'm assuming that's down.
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
that's
yep,
what the arrow means.
yep, yep, yep.
Mhm.
Oops, I can see somebody in the tower accidentally. So my light is shining through one arrow slit to show another, just so you know, GM.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, this is kind of your mind putting together sort of
What's going on?
what you're seeing as you're like figuring out, oh, this tower is this big and there's another arrow slit up there, and I'll bet that fucker that was shooting at us is right up there, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying not to be too tempting a target. But I'm telling you, he shoots at us again, I'm shooting back.
Right, and it is still, and um, just as silent as when you had arrived.
Yo,
Okay,
glad he didn't catch us while we were crossing the water, moving slow.
That would have sucked.
Welcome to Normandy. Slog through the water.
Yeah. Brought the Bangalore torpedo.
Oh,
Didn't think about that.
yeah. So here, here there's like a statue of a of a of a face kind of in the pedestal, at the upper level of this little pedestal that steps down into this courtyard here.
Oh, there's a
Um,
face on it. What kind of face are we look? Is it
it's
looking?
it's it's like it's like, so this is a big pool, and it's lower than where you are here. And this big pool has like a retaining wall, but there's a big sort of pillar that sort of stands in front of this pool, and carved into the pillar itself is a face,
Mm.
kind of a man's face, but it's very soft and almost like it had been worn away by the ages.
Hmm.
And you can see
so
that from where,
the face wasn't carved so much as worn into the surface.
right, right, almost like what's it called when something's pushing out from the inside?
Well, it's emerging from within, protruding from within.
Yeah.
It's like when Sylvester the cat's face hits the wall and leaves his face on, sticking out the other side.
Right, exactly that type of thing.
Awesome. I love that image.
That type of thing, exactly. So I think might actually be a good place for us to stop because
Cool.
it is 10. And
Yep, and I've got my other game gonna get pinged here in a bit.
cool. What are you playing today?
So we are continuing our expeditions into the Era subsector. The party is falsely accused of murder and laying low. I'm trying to figure out why someone wants them accused of murdering their patron.
Oh, that's right. You guys are doing that science fiction set.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you're
so
doing
we're
it mostly online as well, aren't you?
totally online and recording it all. If you guys ever want the links, I'm doing as videos through YouTube. So
Oh, how are you?
yeah.
What are you using Hangouts to do the recording, or what are you doing?
No, we're using OBS is what I'm doing.
Oh,
So I've got
yeah, that's what I had set up this morning too.
OBS and I've got another login to the game
Fun.
that I use for capturing the stream, so they don't actually see my stuff.
Oh yeah, well I was like, I'm not even gonna hassle with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Too much of a hassle.
It is. Jumping between two different sets of browser windows, like I'm pinging in one and like I can't see that. Oh crap, wrong browser.
Yeah, usually with DCC, I don't know if the thing worked the same way. Aaron would have a player share out, and that's what would be recorded, what the players saw.
Right. And I could have done the same here and had like a player be the recording engineer, as it were, but it just seemed not worth it. Like I said in the beginning, if you kind of get to see behind the game master screen here if you're interested, or if you don't want to watch that part and just listen, then there's that opportunity too.
Yeah, no.
After we've played it, I'll definitely want to see behind the screen because I want to figure out how to the Greek game when I finally get it.
Right. I mean, that could be
a good role.
That could be a useful learning too. Like, how does this work? How do you run a game?
Oh yeah.
Roll20. What are you
I've
doing
learned so
there?
much just asking you questions, Aaron, and kind of muddling through stuff. But yeah, we've gotten much better at using the tool. So it's not perfect. It still has glitches, but it's gotten people playing regularly. So this is 32 for us on this game. So that's pretty freaking good.
That's
as a weekly,
32
pretty much as a weekly game.
sessions. That's
32
awesome.
weekly sessions. So
That's great, Brian. Well done.
yeah, so I'm
And
pretty happy with that.
You, Stanley, Charity, Richard, Al.
Al and Ethan are intermittent.
Okay.
Ethan's mostly intermittent because of now this time is when his team meets. So
shit's hitting the fan.
Oh, it is. We talked last night a little bit. He was online, played some City of Stars, but he didn't want to talk about school or anything else. So I know it's bad.
Yeah, just all consuming right now, I'm sure.
It is. But he's got about a month left and then he's done.
Exactly. So it's that important month, though.
It is.
Wow.
I get it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's why I can be totally patient. He's like, I'm really sorry I can't do the game on Sundays. Like, you know what, man, just let me know when you're available again, because what you're doing is important.
Well, when he's here, when he's home, Peter, we should do some, when we can, at least as many of us get together face to face as we can.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to, schlep up to Alamo or whatever.
Yeah,
no.
Well, the last thing I usually like to do when wrapping a session is take hits or misses. So how about if we start with Peter? Any hits or misses for tonight or this morning? Not even tonight. Jesus.
Big hit is getting to a game with you guys. That's just and I may have done a little City of Brass before, but I knew then that we barely scratched the surface. So I'm just delighted to be able to revisit this scenario.
Yeah, it's something else, that's for sure. How about for you, Brian? Any hits or misses?
Oh, I'm loving just hanging out with you guys, getting a chance to game with you guys. I don't get a chance to do that very often. I'm glad this worked out.
Cool.
This module sounds really cool, so I'm curious to play. I haven't played AD&D. Well, I did do Guy's game that one time, so I'm looking to poke around some more at this level. I never got to this level as a player ever because I was always the DM. So I wasn't
Right,
sure.
right, right.
This is fun for me.
Cool, cool.
Thanks for running it.
Yeah, and the hit for me is just seeing how this is shaping up even more differently than the first time we ran it, Peter. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the miss is still not being fully cogent of the rules and everything, but that's fine. That will come. It
We'll
comes
figure
through
that out.
play. That comes through the doing. So
Yeah.
that plays the thing, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Cool. Let me
this has been
kill this
fun.
recording.